Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is SoupaSoka. If you don't know me, I generally will post videos with commentary for World of Warcraft on a vanilla server, Heroes of the Storm, some Hearthstone, some StarCraft 2, and some other Blizzard games and other games once in a while. But today we are going to review the Nostalrius private server. So let me start by explaining a little bit about who I am and why my opinion might matter to you at all. So I go by SoupaSoka, and I actually played the original World of Warcraft since open beta. So this was late 2004. I started playing World of Warcraft, and I rolled a no mage, played that for a few months into the actual launch of the game, and then switched classes into a level 60 undead, or not a level 60, just an undead rogue. So I played an undead rogue and started that probably in October of 2004, and I played that rogue all the way to level 60 and continued to play that rogue as my only character through about mid-2007, which was a few months after the first expansion, the Burning Crusade, came out. So in that time, I leveled to 60, did a lot of world PvP, did a lot of Battlegrounds PvP, and raided in a high-end guild where we cleared all of Molten Core, all of Blackwing Lair, all of Ankurash 40, and a good chunk of Naxxramas. And then we did some Burning Crusade raids also. But the main thing is, it's just important to know that I have a lot of experience with vanilla WoW. I didn't play into Burning Crusade very far. I only played a few months in, and I quit, like I said, in mid-2007, and haven't touched World of Warcraft since, until now, with Nostalrius. So, like I said, lots of experience with vanilla WoW. So, maybe the most important thing about this review is that if you look at many other reviews on YouTube about Nostalrius, many of them are from people that have only just started playing, or maybe you're level 20 or 30. I've actually hit all the way to level 60 now, and I play the same class, the same race, the same faction as I did back when I played Vanilla WoW. And I did this so I could actually kind of see how does this compare to what I used to play. I really wanted something closest to how I used to play. And I will say right now, just as a summary, that this was very close to how I feel like I was playing back in 2004, 2005, and 2006 as an Undead Rogue. So it's very similar, as kind of the first summary I'll give. But keep listening on and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. So, with that said, we're going to get now, we can talk about the Nostalrius server. So if you don't know what it is, Nostalrius is a private server. It's free to play. You just go to their website. I'll have it linked in the info below the video. And you can go there, download some files you need, install everything, and within 10 minutes, you can have the game up and running. It took me just a few minutes to get it going. The server opened up on February 28th, 2015. So it's only about 4 months old at the time of this video, so it's still very new. And it was developed, they said it took them 5 years to develop this by a team of 16 people, and I would believe that. I would say 16 people might take, 4 or 5 years to get to where this game is now. I'll talk more about the quality of it in a moment. So some more of the history. There's no pay to win. Some of these private servers, you can pay money to get leveled up straight to 60, or you can get some items if you donate money. As far as anyone knows, that doesn't exist in Nostalrius, unless there's something going on kind of some shady third-party, back alley stuff going on. There's no front door venue to pay the developers any money at all. So they do this all for free. And so that no pay to win is a huge thing, because that means this what you could call a server very Blizz-like or Blizzard-like. It's kind of a term I don't love to use, but the basic goal of this server is to emulate as close as possible World of Warcraft as it was in 2004, 5, and 6, and early 2007 before any of the expansions came out. So that's the goal here. When you kill a mob, you gain experience at the rate equal to what you would have gained in the vanilla back on the official World of Warcraft servers. Some private servers you'll gain 2, 4, 8 times experience and you can level very quickly. That's not the case here. This is the old school hardcore mode. Besides being kind of Blizz-like, this is on patch 1.12.1. This was one of the last major patches before the Burning Crusade launch. This patch came out in late 2006, like August, or no, maybe sometime around August to November of 2006. And so most of the balances in this Nostalrius server are based on that patch. So all classes are balanced kind of around that. Most of the raid encounters are kind of balanced around that. And so just so you can look up patch 1.12.1 on like WoW Wiki. It's not exactly where we are on Nostalrius, but it's most similar to how Nostalrius is set up. So the Nostalrius server also has some DDoS protection. I don't know how that works at all, but basically it's supposed to protect the server from getting pinged a bunch and lagging it or crashing it. It seems like it worked. In all the time that I've been on Nostalrius, I think there's only been one instance of the server being DDoSed. I'm not even sure it was being DDoSed, it just sounded like, from what we were experiencing, that may have been the case. So, the player base, I've noticed, is mostly US and Europe, but it's pretty well split. I'm in the US, I'm Central US time. I tend to play between 5 and 7 a.m., and when I'm on there at 5 or 7 a.m., there's a lot of people from the US, but there's a ton more from, like, I don't know, like Australia or Europe or parts of Asia. It seems like there's definitely a lot of people from China and Russia on this server. So, it's a good thing because you can find people at all times of day, no matter where you're at in the world. You can get on here and you're going to find people to play with. It's also bad because once in a while you'll run into people that don't speak your language very well. The server is English, and they essentially will ban you if you speak in general chat in non-English. I mean, if you do it once in a while, you're fine, but if you just like continuously talk in there in general chat in a non-English language, you can get in trouble for that. So they do kind of focus on everyone speaking English on the server. And so finally, talking about the server here, why do we care about this being a vanilla server? Vanilla meaning before the Burning Crusade. And to me, vanilla WoW was actually a challenge. Like leveling up, you would die at level like 1 or 2 just trying to get to the next level. That wasn't the case, isn't the case really anymore as the game has gone farther along and evolved. So it's really quite nice having this vanilla feeling again, where you're kind of exploring a little bit. You can run into mobs and actually have to run for your life because you will die. And when you die, you don't have a speed buff to run back to your corpse. It takes you 10 minutes to get back. So, all these little things. There's so much I could talk about. I could make a whole video discussing why I like vanilla WoW. But for me, this is enjoyable, and this is what I wanted to play. It's the only time I've come back to WoW. It's been, gosh, how long has it been? 2007. It's been 8 years since I played World of Warcraft, and the only reason I came back was because I could get on a popular, pretty well balanced vanilla server. So that's why I like vanilla. It's just there's a challenge to it that you don't quite get from leveling up on the modern live WoW. So we're speaking about leveling, and I can say that it actually went really well for me. In the time that I was leveling, I have hit 60 recently, so that's the other thing. It's important to know that I've played from 0 to 60. In some of these videos, you'll find people played maybe to level 10 or 20, and they're talking about a review, but I don't think it's very fair. You need to actually go through the whole process to have a good, thorough idea of what's going on. So I've gotten to 60 recently, and it went well. One of the great things is you'll find people to play with. There's so many people on this server. There's actually, and I'll talk about this more, I've never seen a server with less than 3,000 people on. Ever. And no matter what time of day, I've never seen less than 3,000 people on, and I've seen up to 10,000 people on the server at one time. Normally it probably falls between 4,000 to 6,000, but sometimes maybe 5,000 to 7,000. But so many people means you can find groups for elite quests so much easier than you used to, which is great because I play at a weird hour. I couldn't, if I was playing at 5 a.m. in the US on a US server, I'd probably have like 500 people on. It'd be impossible to find groups. So you're going to find groups much easier this way. One of the problems with this is that there's so many people that there's a lot of competition for herb nodes and mineral nodes and skinning and all those things. But I found it not that bad. I leveled up 300 alchemy, 300 herbalism, just as I was leveling up to level 60. I didn't make any special trips to focus on leveling those skills up, and I had no problem. So to me, finding the herbs or minerals is not a problem. Trying to kill specific mobs you need to farm, I didn't have any problems doing that leveling up. Some people have complained about it on the forums, but to me it's been okay. I have noticed at level 60, I have not seen a single Black Lotus spawn as an herbalist, and I've gone on my way to look for them, and from what I'm told, they basically are camped all the time, like 24/7 people are camping them. I don't know, so that's one problem for high-end raiding. It may be a problem to find certain herbs and other things you need, but that's one of the downsides of having a lot of people also. So, how is 60? How is level 60 treating me? So far it's so good. I'm enjoying it. I have done a lot of different things. I'm working on trying to get the best gear for each slot, pre-raid gear. And so I'm doing a lot of instance runs, and like I mentioned before, there's plenty of people to play with, so it's really not very hard. The raiding content is there, so right now, the content that's available for 40-man raids is Onyxia, and also Molten Core. That's it for now. Otherwise, there's no 20-man raids available. Upper Blackrock Spire is there, it's 15-man. But that's it. So next up, supposedly Blackwing Lair is under development and actually basically ready, they've said. They're just doing bug fixing and kind of double checking some things and going to wait a little while to release it. My opinion is that they are waiting because there's only so many instances in Vanilla WoW, and if they drop Blackwing Lair right now, 3-4 months after the release of the server, and they drop, I don't know, Ankurash next 3 months later, and then Naxxramas 3 months later, they'll have gone through the entire raiding, environment for Vanilla within a year. So I personally think they're going to wait at least 6 months after release of the original server of Nostalrius, so late February. I think 6 months from that date, from February, they'll release Blackwing Lair. And that's kind of a problem. That's just my theory. That's kind of a problem because a lot of people, they've cleared Molten Core. There's I don't know, dozens of guilds on Alliance and Horde that have cleared Molten Core already, cleared Onyxia. So now, there's just not a lot for them to do because there's no high-end rating left. The good thing is that, like I said, more stuff is coming out. Some world bosses are going to be out. Kazakh is already out. I don't think Azuragos has been released yet, but more are going to come, and hopefully people don't get too bored while they're waiting. That's maybe a downside, is that if you're in one of those high-end guilds, there's only so much you can do. But there is some good news. So for level 60, one thing I've also been doing is PvPing, and they have rank rewards in there. So if you get, you start as no rank, you get some kills. The next week, once a week on Wednesday mornings, you get your next rank up, or you get new honor points. And you can pick up, you go to Scout rank, and then Grunt, and then Sergeant, then Senior Sergeant, and all the way up to High Warlord, rank 14. All of those ranks exist. The rewards exist. So there's people every week that are in there doing hours of PvPing trying to get those rewards. I'm not into it that much. I just do a little bit for fun. But besides those rank rewards, Warsong Gulch and Arathi Basin and Alterac Valley, all of the raid PvP instances, those all exist. So Warsong Gulch is a 5-man, and Arathi Basin, I believe, is 10. And Alterac Valley actually just released a few weeks ago, and it's the 40-man PvP raid instance. And the amazing thing is that this is the pre-nerf Alterac Valley. So this is sometimes, it basically takes forever. Sometimes we'll load in there, and we're sitting in Alterac Valley, I'll load in, and it's like an Alterac Valley that's been running for 6 hours, and it looks to me on the map that no one's made any progress. So, if that's something you hate, maybe Alterac Valley isn't for you in this server, but other times, we've gone to Alterac Valley. I have a video up, you can check it on my channel, where we entered a brand new Alterac Valley, and we won in like 20 minutes. So, it's just the way it works sometimes on this vanilla PvP, but all 3 of the PvP instances are there, and they're all super fun, so I really enjoy playing those. The other thing that's the most amazing thing about this server to me is that World PvP actually exists. I don't know if it's just because people are just excited about World PvP, or because there's so many people that at least once in a while someone will wander off to, kill some stuff in the world, but in Vanilla WoW, I don't know, to me, once the instances came out, Arathi Basin and Alterac Valley and Warsong Gulch, people didn't do World PvP much anymore. They just kind of went out and, queued up for the instances and waited around. But now, in Nostalrius, people are PvPing. I've got a couple videos up, and I'll have some more up in the future, where we've got 20 to 30 people just raiding Alliance towns for an hour, just for fun. There's no reward. We probably lose honor because we're killing some civilians on accident, but for the most part, we're going out there and we're having a lot of fun doing it. Every now and then, there's a channel you can see on the video here where I'm talking about world channel number 4 I have in the chat box in the bottom left. If you look at that, once in a while you'll see someone say, hey, there's some alliance ganking us in a lobby area, can you come and help us? Can someone come and help us? So that happens all the time. There's always some small gank going on, or small groups fighting, or giant raids will happen once in a while too. So the World PvP on this server, I give it it's better than anything I've ever seen in Vanilla WoW. Anything I ever saw in Vanilla WoW after the release of PvP instances. I think it's awesome. So if you want to World PvP, you should sign up for this server as soon as you can. There's already a ton of rogues. Don't play rogue, but there's a ton of rogues. So anyway, okay, so the PvP is great, but the most important thing maybe is the server stability and lag. And if you watch this video, you'll see towards the latter part of it, when I'm in kind of winter spring near Everlook, that some lag starts to occur. What basically happens is, so for the most part, my ping, you can't see my ping meter on here. It's usually around 150 ms, which is a little bad, I think, compared to most games I play, but it's fine for World of Warcraft vanilla as far as I can see as a rogue. Like, as a melee class, ping matters a lot. I haven't had that many problems most of the time. I will say that the server stability and lag is definitely the major problem. If there is a major problem, that is the major problem of Nostalrius. It's not unplayable, it's not atrocious. What ends up happening is when the server gets above about 7,000 to 8,000 people, which happens once in a while, especially in primetime US, I'd say, things start to lag a little bit. And they've recently optimized it a bit to prioritize certain things, like player positioning and spells and attacks are kind of prioritized on the server, whereas the mailbox is like the lowest priority. So when you open your mailbox, it might take a couple seconds for something to load, but that is exchanged kind of, or that sacrifice is made to make sure that character movement and fighting is optimized as best as possible. And I've noticed that it seems better to me in the last couple weeks. When this video was made, it was actually quite a while ago, maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 weeks ago. But for the most part, server stability, or the lag at least, isn't so bad. You'll get it once in a while, but it kind of comes and goes. Not the worst thing. I think it's completely tolerable. The only other problem is that the server will crash once in a while, and I don't know why. Like, they don't really talk about it, and I'll talk about the kind of talking with the developers a little bit more in a couple more minutes, but they don't really talk about what's going on. But once in a while, the server just crashes, and it crashes, and then you log back in. It takes maybe 3 or 4 minutes, then you can log back in. You have to sit in a queue of about 1,000, 2,000 people usually, which takes, honestly, maybe 30 seconds to a minute to get into that queue. It's not a big deal. But the server will just crash, and there'll be a rollback, and the rollback can be anywhere from, I've seen 0 seconds, or like 1 or 2 seconds, to the worst, I got rolled back like 10 minutes or 15 minutes once. It happens. It's not horrible, though. It just does, once in a while it'll happen. I would say, but yeah, I would just say that server stability and lag is the biggest problem for the server, but if it's under 6,000 people, which happens, you know, maybe not most of the time, a lot of the time, it's not a problem at all. If it's above 6,000 to 7,000, it's okay. Once it gets above 7,000 to 8,000, that's when you start seeing some more consistent problems. But I don't think it's too bad. I was mentioning the server crashes once in a while. That crash probably occurs in 8 hours of playtime. It might happen once. Maybe every 12 hours it'll happen once. It's not that bad. And the rollback, if it rolls you back 2 or 3 minutes every 12 hours, I think that's fine. So, server stability, biggest problem, but not game-breaking by any means. We do have some bugs and glitches to talk about, and I'll show up here on the screen. There's a Zeppelin issue that happens. It's kind of funny. Zeppelins will basically be invisible sometimes. You'll sit there, you'll never see it come and go, you'll wait forever. You have to log in and out, and you'll see on the screen, I'll log in and out, and then when I come back, the Zeppelin's there suddenly. So, like, you can actually, if you watch carefully, you'll see people jumping off of invisible Zeppelin as it comes up to the tower. I realize what's going on, the Zeppelin's there but invisible. I log out, log back in, and then I get on real fast. It's kind of a weird glitch. It's not the worst thing, it's kind of funny. There are some other occasional weirdness, I would call it, where, like in Dire Maul, I'll have a video of this up sometime in the next couple weeks. We were fighting a boss, and he teleported us outside of the instance. Like, we just got teleported out for no reason. So we figured out a way to work around it, but, it's kind of weird. There's still some problems, but, it's not the worst thing. Originally, raid bosses, like the first Ragnaros kill on the server, didn't have loot. They died, and there was no corpse to loot. That has been resolved. So these things are, for the most part, I think are all taken care of. The GMs will step in and solve problems as needed. I would say the other biggest problem, besides the server stability and lag, which is maybe not a major problem, but the biggest problem, the second biggest problem are some broken quest lines. There's some quests you just go and do, and like once in a while, maybe 1 out of every 70 quests, I'll notice it doesn't finish. Like the next quest is missing, or it can't complete it for some reason. Desolus for the Horde, for example, there's like 5 broken quests where like you can accept them, but you cannot finish them because like some mechanic doesn't work. There's like some goblin caravan you have to escort in Desolus, for example. That quest does not work at all. People will try it. It never works. There's something with a portal out there, demonic portal. It doesn't work. So sometimes leveling can be, it's a little bit of a pain when you find a zone like that. Desolus was the worst by far. Most zones are fine. I think Desolus is missing like half of its quests. So that was bad. That's okay. It's just a note that like you will find some glitches, some bugs. I would say it doesn't really affect me on most play sessions, but when I leveled, I found some with the quests especially. For the future, looking forward, I mentioned already, the server will be rolling out new content. There'll be new raids, not new raids, but they'll be releasing Blackwing Lair and other raid instances. So we have those to look forward to. I get the feeling the team's really dedicated, because if they've been working on this for as many years as they say, I can't imagine they're going to give up now, so I have a feeling they'll be around for a while. I will say, though, there's some issues with the lack of communication from the dev team, the development team. Sometimes things just, like, we don't know what's going on. There's no idea when Blackwing Lair is going to come out. They said it's scripted and ready to go months ago, but it just never has come out, and they don't give us a timeline at all. I assume that's on purpose. My thought is that they don't want to let people know it's going to come out in September, and then everyone quits until August, then comes back in just to get ready at the last minute. They want to keep the server going, and so they want to kind of surprise us with it. That's my guess. I can say some nice thing about the future outlook is that they really do crack down on people that are botting, like for phishing bots or exploiting some like PvP problem or some other thing. Like, they're pretty good about making sure that people aren't cheating the system in any way. There is kind of a rampant like gold seller advertisement that goes on. If you go to Orgrimmar, Stormwind, or any major city and sit in general chat or trade chat, oh my god, you're gonna see like every 10 seconds someone posts about Simba Online is usually what it is, or Simba Game or something, I don't know, or Susan Game. These weird named gold seller websites, they're always around. The problem is GMs will ban these people, but it's free to make a new character, a new account. So they, on a, like vanilla, like original WoW or live WoW, if someone advertises, they can ban them and they have to pay $15 again to start up a new account, but it's not the case here. So they do what they can. There are some mods that'll automatically ignore anyone that, has a link or a Simba Online or anything that's some keywords. So you can actually ignore it pretty easily if you want to. It doesn't bother me, but if it's something that'll bother you, I just want you to be aware that there is a lot of gold advertisements. But they do crack down on botters and exploiters as best they can, and I think it's been pretty good. I haven't encountered any personally. If you go to the official forums, people will like bust out people that they think are botting. They'll like get a video and a screenshot, they'll put their name, and they make a big topic, and they're like, this guy is exploiting, get him. And like, if the person doesn't come in there and like defend themselves, I don't know what happens, but people are basically on the lookout for this stuff too. So the community is working together to help the dev team, to help the GMs make sure that people aren't exploiting stuff. So some legal issues going forward. I play this game while I'm playing Hearthstone or Heroes of the Storm sometimes. I have them both up. I haven't been banned from that. Some people are worried that Blizzard will like notice this file is running, this program's running, and ban you from your Blizzard account. That's not the case. You'll be fine. Well, I don't want to guarantee it, but I'm taking the risk. I think it's okay. Blizzard doesn't have a history of shutting down these private servers as far as I can tell. And on top of that, this server is actually physically located, I believe, in France. So I don't think Blizzard is going to really take the time to deal with this. If there's 20,000 accounts on this server and actively like 7,000 people playing, that's like a drop in the bucket for the 6 to 8 million that Blizzard has on their servers. They're not going to deal with it. So I wouldn't worry about legal issues and future and everything. I have a good feeling this server is going to be around for a while, and I don't think Blizzard's going to intervene. If anything, this maybe will motivate Blizzard to make their own vanilla server, although I think that's pretty unlikely. So some final thoughts. Just if I had to summarize this whole experience, I would say, as a free game, this is like a 9 out of 10. This is amazing for free. I'm not paying any money for this. This is amazingly great effort from the team. As a paid game, it's maybe like 7 out of 10. The server stability is a little annoying, and some of the questing problems are a little annoying, but it's not so bad. Overall, I think this is really a great experience. I've really enjoyed it. And I might roll up an alt character, level them up also on the Alliance to see how it goes. But I'm looking forward to getting into some endgame raiding right now. So, anyway, I really hope you kind of enjoyed my review, just some of my commentary on the server. And I encourage you to post below if you have any questions from me. I'll answer very specific and very detailed responses to any question you have. But this is my thoughts on it. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.